This was the defining moment of the earnings call today for Tesla stock. In fact, I would go as far as to say this is the defining moment for Tesla and Tesla's future. Take a listen to what Elon Musk just said. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this, and Wall Street clearly was not as well.
Regarding the vehicle business, we are still on track to deliver more affordable models starting in the first half of 2025. This is, I think, probably people are wondering, well, what should they assume for vehicle sales growth next year? And at the risk of to take a bit of risk here, I do want to give some rough estimate, which is I think 20 to 30% vehicle growth next year. Notwithstanding negative external events, like if there's some force majeure events, like some big war breaks out or interest rates go sky high or something like that, then we can't overcome massive force majeure events. But I think with lower cost vehicles, with the advent of autonomy, something like a 20 to 30% growth next year is my best guess. And then Cybercab reaching volume production in 26. I do feel confident of Cybercab reaching volume production in 26, not just starting production, but reaching volume production in 26. And that should be substantial growth. We're aiming for at least 2 million units a year of Cybercab. That'll be in more than one factory, but I think it's at least 2 million units a year, maybe 4 million ultimately. These are just my best guesses, but if you ask for my best guesses, those are my best guesses.
And this was really the moment Tesla stock went from about $233 per share, still was an impressive 9-ish% gain following Tesla's earnings. They were just across the board stellar. Margins were better. Bottom line profitability was better than expected. Free cash flow was better than expected. Every metric besides top line revenue was better than expected. This was a phenomenal earnings. But then Elon Musk just gave guidance for 20 to 30% delivery volume growth next year. And that's what sent this thing to even high 230s. At one point today, you were about $242 per share or so. Currently in overnight trading, you're up 12.31% to roughly $240 per share. It keeps bouncing between 240 and the high 239s. This is a defining moment for Tesla. And we'll talk about this more throughout this video. But I think Elon's prediction of 20 to 30% delivery growth next year obviously caught everyone by surprise. I was not even expecting Elon would give guidance for 2025. A lot of companies are starting to do that. But last year, for this year, technically, Elon really didn't give guidance for Tesla. But he did say deliveries would be flat, roughly, for this year. And that, at the time, caught analysts off guard. At the time, in the beginning of 2024, analysts were projecting between 2.1 and 2.4 million deliveries for Tesla this year. Elon Musk came out and said, we're not going to hit that. He already knew that at the beginning of 2024. And it's looking like Elon's going to be spot on with his guidance for 2024. That, I think, holds this latest prediction, guidance, it's really, you could call it a prediction or guidance. It makes it seem a little bit more credible that Elon has a pulse on what Tesla demand will look like in 2025. And this also changes Tesla from the stance of we're now getting back to growth. See, this year has been challenging because Tesla is priced for growth in the multiple and the valuation, but we really didn't grow this year. And margins, sure, they bottomed about midpoint of this year, really Q1 of this year, but they're not super impressive either, or at least they have not been. This latest quarter was very impressive. Auto gross margins coming in over 17%. Net margins for the company over 19%, blowing past analysts' expectations. Things are starting to look a lot better for Tesla. Now, here throughout this video, I will share with you my expectations for Tesla stock going ahead. And I will share with you the major highlights, the things that I really took away from the earnings call and said, that's new, or that's really good. That's also new we did not know about. Because typically on any earnings call, there's a lot of things that are discussed that we already kind of knew about. And I think these things are needle movers for Tesla. First and foremost, I was surprised to hear the FSD take rates, according to Elon Musk, have improved substantially after the October 10th event, and Tesla expects that will continue. And honestly, that makes sense. If that is the case and that's what's going on, then maybe that's a reason why we can expect margins to get even better from here. Maybe the Q3 jump in margins is not just a temporary one. And maybe the increase of FSD take rates can start to add materially to the bottom line, because as we know, Tesla's come fully equipped for FSD, whether you buy it or not. So when you do buy it, it's likely 90+% net margins for Tesla. So that was one thing that I thought was a needle mover that was said on the earnings call. Tesla also dropped another bombshell on us. They actually say that employees of Tesla that have the developer app for the robotaxi can already place robotaxi rides. That's already happening. But there is someone, presumably a someone, that is monitoring these rides, kind of like Waymo does. There's people that sit behind computers that watch multiple different car rides that can remotely intervene if they need to. And I thought that was interesting. One of the executives on the earnings call said that they actually showed a picture of this in the Q1 slide deck that they give out every earnings. And it seems like we really didn't piece those pieces together at the time, but it makes a lot of sense now. They're doing this in the San Francisco Bay Area. So it really just, they're showing markets. They're not just jumping into this blindly. They've been planning for FSD and robotaxis for a long time. Elon Musk went on to reiterate that they expect to achieve full autonomy by next year for all Tesla models, and you don't need to wait for the Cybercab for this to happen. Elon Musk also reiterated that Tesla is no longer training compute restrained, they're just intervention restrained, which I guess is a good problem to have. As FSD gets better and better, it's becoming harder and harder to find errors and to train the system on these problems to help it get better. This is information we already knew, but was further validated in Tesla earnings today, where Tesla's training compute went up 75% in just the last quarter. Elon Musk also yet again confirmed that a ride-hailing app or service will be launched in Texas and California next year. Elon Musk also went on to say that some other states could also see this app or service launch, but he's more confident in California and Texas, but other states could also be on the table. I also found this sentence very, very eye-opening, very bullish, very, very confident. Elon Musk said right after that at that point, I'm quoting here, Tesla becomes more than a car and a battery company. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in just a few minutes. Elon Musk also goes on to say, which we kind of already knew this, but it sounds good to hear it again, that Tesla has by far the most advanced robot that is available. Technically not for sale yet, but is available, that is doing operations. And Elon Musk also says that Tesla is really the only company that is in a position to scale that robot with existing manufacturing capability, expertise, software, knowledge of scaling and manufacturing, which again makes a lot of sense. You know, it's one thing to create a concept, and it's another thing to actually make that thing work, and then it's a totally different separate thing, almost on a separate planet, to actually manufacture that for a reasonable cost at a mass market scale and do so successfully. It's gonna be one of those industries where not a lot of people survive, or not a lot of companies survive. These were the biggest highlights that I got out of the earnings call today. Let me know if there's something I am missing down below in the comment section that you think was also impactful. Now, in terms of Tesla stock, I think today was a game changer for Tesla. Not just in the near term, let's call it the next couple of months throughout the rest of this year, but I think it's also a game changer for 2025. I've talked about this concept for over 6 months now. Everyone is very excited over NVIDIA and these GPU companies and AI stocks as we know them now. But the reality is, with all of that excitement, Wall Street has baked in a lot of future returns into valuations today. So meaning that NVIDIA is priced to do very well. So it has to do even better than it's priced to upset investors to the upside in a positive way. It's going to be hard for NVIDIA to do that. It's going to be hard for other AI companies to do that. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. But I have talked about this for about 6 months now. The next leg in the AI revolution, or the AI investment wave, is to actually invest in companies that do something with those NVIDIA products. We're talking Tesla. We're talking maybe Applied Digital. We're talking AI appliers here. And there's not too many of them that fit the bill that I'm going to explain next. See, a company like Google or Microsoft or Apple, some of these other companies, they're already so big that it would take something huge at those companies to move the needle, to actually start to be impactful for those companies, let alone if they actually, could get a product like that. It's still very much an unknown whether those companies will have successful AI products. Now, as investors look to pull forward AI returns and bake those valuations into stocks today, Tesla is by far the clear winner. And I don't think you need to see the robotaxi actually launch to get that valuation baked into Tesla. Investors, especially as we get closer to 2025, are going to start positioning in companies that will have growth from AI, that will be appliers of AI. The bigger the goal, the bigger the reward. Now, let's also assume that we do have a soft landing as the markets are expecting. Let's assume the markets are correct. And maybe they are. Well, I would expect this process would happen a lot faster. Potentially by the end of this year. If we do get a late November, December Santa Claus rally, I think Tesla is now in a much better position to participate with that, with the added bonus of AI. It's becoming clearer and clearer by the week, by the day, by the month, and especially by the year, that Tesla is going to be a dominant player within AI. And all of that was really already set up for Tesla. I think that was going to happen either way. But now, after today, we have guidance for 20 to 30% vehicle delivery growth next year. At the same time, take rates are improving, which is very accretive to the bottom line. The energy generation storage business of Tesla is booming, with Lathrop that is expected to start production of Megapacks in China in Q1. Not to mention Tesla's cost of goods sold just hit a new all-time low of $35,100, which is the amount of money that Tesla essentially spends to make one car. You mix all these things together, if we get 20 to 30% vehicle growth next year with margins improving, you're going to see a boom in Tesla's profitability next year, especially as we launch and really continue to ramp the Cybertruck more effectively and actually start to see some larger positive net margins from that. Analysts are way off sides with Tesla. Even though they're bullish, they're expecting good things for next year. Following that guidance, 20-30% delivery growth, it really sets Tesla apart. I mean, that's like NVIDIA type levels of expected growth. I believe NVIDIA's growth may be a little bit lower than that. If we're talking about the 30% projected range, I believe, as per the last checks I did on NVIDIA expected growth for next year, it was around 27% expected growth next year. So if Tesla comes in at 30%, it's actually going to outgrow NVIDIA. It's going to, for sure, outgrow Apple, Amazon, all of your other big tech names. So this really sets Tesla apart from a lot of other stocks. Even if Elon wildly misses the mark and Tesla only grows 15 to 18%, that's still a lot faster than Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, so on and so forth. And that is on a delivery basis. If we are growing deliveries 15 to 35%, let's call it that range, and you're getting margins better and better, lowering the cost of goods sold, you would expect earnings are going to grow a lot faster than that. I think now becomes what expected margins will be like on the Model 2. If we're expecting good margins from that right from the start or shortly after production begins, then you're really going to see a impressive Tesla next year. And as I put all of these things together, as long as we don't start to go into some kind of recession, then it's clear Tesla is going to have a great 2025. Now, in all fairness, I made a call October 21st that we were going to see a 10% correction. I actually believe we could see two 10% corrections. I believe you could see a 10% correction around the flop of Apple Intelligence next week and right before the election and Israel, Middle East conflicts. I mean, we're still waiting for Israel to retaliate against Iran. It is certainly possible that we get a correction here in early November where we start to bottom out, call it 10%. And it's very possible we get another correction around March or April of 2025 as maybe growth fears start to seep into markets. But if we do actually achieve that soft landing, if Elon is even remotely close in his prediction, which he was spot on for 2024, Tesla is going to go dramatically higher than where it is today. And I do think this puts Wall Street on notice. So many people were wrong about this that I think there's a lot of recalibration that they're going to have to do. Just to put it lightly, there's going to be a lot more buying of Tesla stock. Again, with that said, if we have a correction in the near term, then I would expect that negatively affects Tesla. But I'll tell you, tomorrow is going to be a good day for Tesla. Following that guidance, if tomorrow somehow, if we sell off this gain or something, that would be a serious buy the dip opportunity. And I'm not expecting we will sell off this rally. Over the course of the correction that I expect over the next 6 weeks, we possibly could. It really just depends what happens next. But from my perspective right now, you want to be locked in with Tesla. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. Those are just my thoughts. But Elon Musk delivered multiple bombshells that nobody seen coming today. And I actually think coming tomorrow, as long as initial jobless claims, service PMIs, manufacturing PMIs, composite PMIs, as long as none of your data is just really bad or recessionary or super inflationary tomorrow, Tesla stock's probably going to rally throughout the day tomorrow with very little give back, would be my thought. You could probably rally into the 20% kind of level by the end of the day tomorrow. I think there's a flood of retail investors, a flood of institutional investors that are going to hear 20 to 30% delivery growth next year with improving margins and have a heyday in Tesla. But again, that's just my hunch. That's just what I think. And if we don't get this 10% correction, if we don't get any kind of material downside volatility, then I think Tesla stock will soon make its way above $300 per share. Oh, and just wait until you start to get the analysts that come out with their notes tomorrow morning. Yeah, that's going to send this thing even higher. So let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comment section. These are just my thoughts around the event that we had today. I don't think it could have been better within reason, right? You can't go out there and just make absurd claims. This was a very level-headed Tesla. This was a very confident Tesla. This was a Tesla that's not afraid to give a little bit of guidance. Something we have not really seen from Tesla in recent quarters. And I think you gotta love what you heard today. So again, let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. That is going to do it for this video. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. What are you waiting for? You made it to the end of this video. It's free 99 to like the video and subscribe. Literally free 99. It costs you nothing to do so, and it helps support the channel. With that said, you guys have a safe rest of your day or night, and I will see you in the next one.